Welcome to RotoWire Fantasy Hockey Quick Hits, where I'll run you through all the latest news ahead of tonight's 10-game slate. And we'll start with the fact that Devan Dubnyk is dealing with a lower body injury that will see him out for a little bit here for the Sharks, which obviously means we'll get more Marty Jones, regardless of his general struggles this season. It's good news, bad news on the Vegas blue line. They'll get Alex Pietrangelo back tonight, but then they're going to be without Shea Theodore. So one stud blue liner in, another out for them. Drew Dowdy, speaking of blue liners, he looks ready to play for the Kings tonight. Nothing official in terms of, he's still a game time call, but he was on the ice for the morning skate. Vincent Trocheck is good to go for the Hurricanes. Talked about that one yesterday. And Andre Secara will return to the lineup for Dallas. Obviously, his fantasy impact is relatively minimal. In terms of the not so good news around the league, you've got Matthias Ekholm was labeled week to week. Again, this is another guy, not a huge fantasy contributor, but obviously will stretch that top four for the Predators with him out. Andrew Shaw is in the concussion protocol again and was placed on IR. You have to wonder if this might mark the end of his career, given his lengthy concussion history. And then last kind of news for tonight, Evgeni Malkin is day-to-day after leaving yesterday's practice with what they called eye irritation. So we'll have to wait and see for warm-ups as to whether or not he will play tonight. If he doesn't, they don't have a ton of options there in Pittsburgh. Normally, you would see Jared McCann slide into that center spot with Malkin out, but McCann is week to week right now, was just placed on IR. So they're really down to just a couple of options. Teddy Bluger, Dominic Simone has certainly played center, or they'll have to really, even possibly Sam Lafferty is another name. So we'll have to see what they do tonight. Check back on those lines, but I certainly think that decreases the value for guys like Kasperi Kapanen and Jason Zucker without an elite center of Malkin's status. In terms of some news for tomorrow, for Arizona, they'll be with questionable for Christian Fischer and Jake Kajula. Both of those guys in doubt for that game, but they will get Oliver Ekman-Larsson back, which is a big thing for their defense. You have to wonder if this is going to affect Jacob Chychrun's usage and his ability to produce. He's had a really strong start to the year. In terms of the goalie matchups, as we head into, again, the big 10-game slate tonight, we've got most of these confirmed. There are still a few question marks, and that starts with Andre Vasilevskiy. Let's be honest, this guy's rarely actually a question mark, right, for Tampa Bay. Unless there's any reason, like a back-to-back not to, it would be really shocking for them to go with Curtis McElhinney tonight. It'll be Vasilevskiy, most likely, facing off against Sergei Bobrovsky. They continue to use him, even though Chris Driedger has really outperformed him. In Pittsburgh, they're going to use Casey DeSmith tonight, which is very surprising considering they've been off for a few days after some COVID cancellations for them. So it seems like Jari has maybe at least gone to a split share, if not started to concede the starting job in Pittsburgh, which is rather surprising for them. He'll face off against Simeon Varlamov, who has outplayed Ilya Sorokin up to this point. In Detroit, we expect it to be Thomas Greiss, no confirmation there. And also no confirmation on the other end of the ice in Nashville. We expect it to be UC Saros. Mike Smith gets a start for Edmonton, and he will face off with Jake Allen tonight. Now, I will point out one thing to watch for, especially building your DFS lineups, is this game has been pushed back an hour to allow for some COVID testing and protocols to be properly processed. So it's just something to watch for. We have no indication that there's going to be a cancellation, but keep a close eye on that one just in case. In Ottawa, we expect it to be Matt Murray facing off with Connor Hellebuyck, who's confirmed for us there. Jonas Korpisalo continues to start for Columbus, although they will get Elvis Merzlikins back from IR, and he will back up tonight, so he could get a start down the road here. He'll face off with Kevin Lankinen as kind of the unheralded guy that's come into Chicago and really taken the starting job there. In Carolina, we anticipate James Reimer. No reason to think it won't be. On the other end, Anton Khudobin gets back after his 2-game stint, watching Jake Ottinger go for the Dallas Stars. As I mentioned, Marty Jones starts for San Jose with Devan Dubnyk dealing with that injury. We expect he'll face off with Jonathan Quick. John Gibson's kind of a big question mark here. Picked up what's kind of been deemed a minor injury at first. We're expecting him to go, but no confirmation for the Anaheim Ducks yet. On the other end of that one, it'll be Robin Lehner as they continue to split the workload there, despite the fact that Marc-Andre Fleury has won all 5 of his starts this season. And in the late game tonight, we'll get Jacob Markstrom for Calgary going up against Vancouver, who will ice Thatcher Demko tonight. This has been your RotoWire Fantasy Hockey Quick Hits. Thanks for tuning in.
Please like our video and subscribe to RotoWire. Then go to rotowire.com/pod for a free 10-day trial.